the City of New York versus Homer Simpson is in itself a really interesting episode. And from what I can tell, when it was released in 1997, I believe, it was very well received. Certainly today, it's quite a bit different. This is the first episode of the 9th season, and it's directed by Jim Reardon. And apparently, I watched the version that is on Disney Plus, and apparently the one that's now in syndication is actually quite heavily edited. And if anybody knows of anywhere to watch the original version, please feel free to let me know. But the reason it's heavily edited is because of the inclusion of the World Trade Center, and certainly the jokes surrounding the World Trade Center on Disney Plus are not that bad, although they do make fun of some people in one of the towers, and it does make me think, well, what's been removed? So if anybody can shed any light on that, please feel free to. But they end up having to go to New York. The Simpsons family go to New York City because Barney somehow leaves Homer's car there. I won't explain the events leading up to that, but they have to go and get it, and it partly focuses on the Simpsons family exploring New York and how they perceive New York, and certainly how New York responds to them. But it's largely about Homer trying to get the clamp off of his car, and his car is parked right next to the World Trade Center. So obviously, whenever we're with Homer, we are at the World Trade Center, and not all of the jokes are about that, which obviously works very well, but there are some jokes, particularly about people in one of the towers, and it's obviously, for me as a Brit who was never personally affected by this, it doesn't affect me at all, but I can imagine that watching this episode now, if you've been affected by those horrific events, it would be quite difficult. Should they have edited it and removed bits? Well, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but at the same time, it's not necessarily. From what I can tell, they've done it not because they don't want to talk about the World Trade Center, but because they've done it to be sensitive, to because it might upset certain people, which I think is the right reason. Often TV shows will go back and edit things out of their episodes because whatever they've said is no longer politically correct, and I don't agree with that, because I think if you deny history, you can't learn from it. But this is apparently just because of sensitivity, which I think is completely understandable. The episode itself, whatever it is on Disney Plus, is enjoyable. I love seeing New York in Simpsons animation style. I love seeing them interact with different elements of it. I had a lot of fun with it. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. When I heard about it, and I heard that it was, heavily edited and things are different, I did wonder if it was going to be a bit scrappy and a bit messy, but actually, had I not known, I wouldn't have been able to tell. So I think it works quite well. But of course, if I'd seen the original version, maybe I would think differently. I'd love to know what you think of it, but I enjoy it. I think it's a really good episode. I'm glad that they haven't just removed it completely. And I think it works very well. Love seeing them in New York. For me, at least, it's definitely a really good episode, but I can understand why maybe for some people it's not going to be the easiest episode to watch.